Welcome back to Culture Cast, episode 11. We are doing week 2 today of the FIBA World Cup. A lot of eliminations have occurred past week 2, but we're going to go over them now just because once we get into week 3 this weekend, there's going to be more and we don't want to have a huge pile up at once. So we'll go over the ones that have happened so far. We're going to open with Javale McGee and Svi Mykhailiuk, signing deals both in Sacramento and in Boston. And then we'll just get into week 2 as we did last week. So thank you, Dom, again. Start us off. We got Javale McGee signing with the Kings.
Yeah. Another rim runner they're bringing in, a bit older at this point in his career. They signed Nerlens Noel, about 2 months ago, I believe, about a month and a half, 2 months ago.
Yeah, like right after the draft, right?
Yeah. I'm guessing they didn't have a center. They didn't have a backup center before the Nerlens signing, so now they have two. This one obviously comes with a lot of experience, championship experience. So
Yeah.
always great to have on your team. Seems he's definitely on the decline. Obviously, he had a rough year in Dallas.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just Dallas. Maybe he just didn't fit very well there. I don't necessarily see an issue with the signing. I think it's just center depth, and I think that's always great to have. So I understand it for a team that at times lacked a physical center in the playoffs, obviously against the Warriors, and sometimes you need to have a different type of game instead of just having Sabonis play 40 plus minutes. And I don't hate this too much. It's really low risk. It's cheap. Just another body to bring in there just in case. A lot of great centers in the league nowadays. Someone else that if you go against the Nuggets, you have 3 centers you can throw at them. So that's something right there. The Svi signing, I've been interested in that. It's just another guard. I would say just a combo guard is what I would say he is.
Yeah.
Solid playmaker, solid shooter, decent scorer. I'm guessing just another depth piece. Maybe this is someone that can possibly replace Peyton Pritchard minutes when they find a trade partner for him, because I know he's wanting a trade. So I'm guessing the frustration will seep into next year, and he's probably going to seek that trade. So I understand it if that's what it's for, but if not, I don't really see a necessity for signing him. But if that's the case and they want to move on from Peyton Pritchard, which I think they finally will this year, then I understand signing that combo guard just in case for the depth.
Yeah, as well as just for injury and stuff, getting a third string guard, especially for a team, like Malcolm Brogdon can't do everything. And Derek White is, he's good, but he is relatively limited. So, the JaVale signing, I think, is very interesting because thinking about the Kings in the last few years, Sabonis is very unique. He's technically a 7-footer, but he doesn't quite play like one. He's definitely more of like a playmaking 5-4 kind of deal. And Chimezie Metu, while Chimezie Metu was a solid player, he had a very unique play style, has a very unique play style, isn't quite a rim runner. He can, but he isn't quite one. He can kind of score at all 3 levels somewhat. So JaVale is kind of like the first time in a while we've seen them with a genuine center. That's
center,
and what do you think the second unit could potentially look like with JaVale there? How do you think that could kind of work for a guy like Davion Mitchell or someone?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely benefits because I'm trying to remember. I mean, Metu at times was also a liability on the defensive end.
Yeah.
I mean, I know JaVale is at a point in his career where he's definitely not going to have the same impact that he did, let's say, 5 years ago. But I still think with the right team, because you got to remember the Mavericks, they're an abysmal defense. They're a god-awful defense. He got thrown into a terrible system, I personally think. I'm not a big fan of the Dallas defense. I am as of right now with the new additions they added. But last year, that defense was, I believe,
especially after trading for Kyrie because you lost Dorian.
Bottom 20 defense last year. So
and Kleba was hurt, so they had no rim protection. Yeah,
exactly. So I think this benefits him a lot playing with that second unit. You have, I'll say this: the Kings added a lot of great pieces that for the defensive side of the ball. You drafted Colby Jones, a very solid defensive player that probably won't get too many minutes right off the bat, but it's someone you can throw at other players. So you have more options, and I love that for the Kings because I think at times in the playoffs they looked really limited and. Having that, this was definitely an interesting signing. I think it will benefit them a lot defensively. And they were they weren't a good defense at all last year. So
No. Yeah, they
and
were one of the worst.
you have the fast-paced
Yeah.
offense, but if you have no offense or no defense to back it up, doesn't really mean that much. And I think the Warriors kind of showed that. And I think this is definitely a direction they need. They need another rim runner just in case Sabonis gets hurt, or like you
Yeah.
said, just I think having a different brand of basketball to be played on this team with Mike Brown too. I like it a lot.
Yeah. I also, because you were talking about Colby Jones, and I like someone to throw out there, and who knows what his potential offensively looks like, but they do still have Terrence Davis, who's another option that's kind of just a toolsy, two-way kind of combo guard / wing. So yeah, Sacramento is just building up a ton of players, and I mean, I think we're all excited to see the leaps that Keegan Murray is going to be taking, both offensively and defensively, because that was kind of his biggest knock. His rookie year was the defense.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, these are good signings for both teams. I think for Sacramento, it's a little bit more impactful, just because like this is kind of a maybe not need, but it's something that elevates them.
Yeah.
As opposed to Svi, which is sort of just like an insurance, if Pritchard goes, if Brogdon goes down, if Derek White goes down, we've got a guy that can play some spot minutes. So, yeah, interesting couple signings today in that regard. Moving on from there, we've got the eliminations that have occurred so far, and there are quite a few. Before we started, we were trying to make sense of the brackets that FIBA is using, and I'm going to be honest, they make no fucking sense. Okay.
Very much so.
These are the group system. It's just super weird. So we just have the eliminations for you. Dom has the power rankings and stuff, so we'll go over that as well. But the eliminations thus far, France has been eliminated. Philippines have been eliminated. Egypt, Lebanon, Mexico, China, Venezuela, Jordan, Finland, Iran, and Angola are all eliminated right now. I haven't seen them stop playing, technically, so I don't know what the deal is. We'll see. But those are currently the teams eliminated from the FIBA World Cup. But we did want to get into a few teams from that group that have potential to really contend in future years. I think obviously starting with France, you were talking a lot about it too last weekend. They're typically one of the best teams, top 5, sometimes top 3, as far as just comp international squads. What do you think are some additions France could make, or how do you think they can get back to where they should be in the coming years for FIBA or for the Olympics?
I was kind of thinking, I mean, does Victor play next time?
Yeah, that's a big
addition. I know there's a few other guys they have. I feel like in 2021 they had Thunder rookie Theo Maldion back then.
Right.
Also, I feel like they had him. I think that I personally really just think they had a horrible time. I just think they came out and they played so sloppy. I think it was very unlike them.
Yeah.
I think they got caught off guard. I think that Lithuania game kind of shows it all. There was no reason for them to lose to that team with the team they have. So I personally think that they're going to like we mentioned, they have the Olympics hosting in France. So by that
24
rule, they are hosting no matter what. So they're getting in no matter what. So
consolation prize, yeah.
Yeah, they are very lucky that's the case, because it would be embarrassing if that wasn't. But they came into this tournament, I believe they were ranked top 3.
Yeah, they were one of the best. Yeah.
They were ranked 2 or 3. And then just last week, they had them ranked. After the game 1 loss to Canada, they moved them to 3. So it's just like, man, I don't know what to say for them, but obviously they're going to be better next time. It's going to have to. They finished 2 2021.
See, they were one of the best. Yeah,
they were. I think they won silver. I think they got the silver.
Jesus.
And then they came in and they lose in the first round. It's just like, man, that is
wins too.
No wins as of right now.
Yeah.
So I personally don't think that will happen again, obviously. Yeah, that was just it was
Yeah.
bad. That was bad.
I think for me, the best part of it, though, or at least the kind of thing I'm looking at, is Evan Fournier is still for real.
Man, he is very
If
for real.
anybody had doubts about his time with the
Shut them
Knicks or his
up.
time
Yeah.
with the Celtics, yeah,
Yeah.
this is proof that Fournier is still out there hooping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, France has guys, but yeah, that was the one team where it was like there is just zero chemistry. Like nobody
Zero.
seems to want to play
Didn't
with one
gel at all.
another.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the big difference is like even some of the teams that got stomped on a bit,
Yeah.
like they still were having fun. Like they were just excited to be there.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Exactly.
if they had some NBA talent, things could be different. But France, like you said,
Have
they
all the
should
talent.
be one of the top three teams.
Have
Yeah.
all the talent. It's there.
Yeah. So for them to like fall on their face like this is really ugly and does not look good for the fact that they're hosting the Olympics. So, they got a lot to do. But like you said, they could potentially have some reinforcements like Wemby and Bilal Koulibaly. So
Exactly. Well, yeah,
things
another
could
guy.
get better. Yeah.
Totally forgot about him. Went over my head. Yeah, big time.
Yeah. Next up, we've got the Philippines. The Philippines were an interesting team. We knew it was going to kind of be a Jordan Clarkson versus all situation. Obviously, everyone was pretty bummed that Jalen Green decided not to play. That would have been a great backcourt. But Jordan Clarkson played his heart out. That dude absolutely, I mean, did everything he could to keep the Philippines in it. You were talking a lot about the Philippines as just a huge growing nation for basketball, which very much is the case. What do you think the future does look like for the Philippines in the coming years for international play?
I will say this. I will say the Philippines and China are the two teams that I look at as of right now, out of everyone that got eliminated, besides from France, that I personally think basketball in the next 10 years will definitely be elevated and it'll be taken a lot more serious. I especially think China will do this. No doubt in my mind for China. I 100% think in the next 10 years, basketball has grown so much there over the last 10 years that in the give it 10 years and they will be one of the top teams. I will say that for China.
Right.
The Philippines, in the other case, I think also, like we mentioned, huge basketball nation as of recently. They showed that, obviously. They showed out for the team. They love basketball there. I think it has to grow more there. The only thing is I do personally have more faith in China growing in a basketball sense, more than the Philippines for the next 10 years, I would say. But out of all these teams, those are the two to me. And like Finland, also Finland. I think Finland will definitely be back in a lot better next time. But out of all those teams, I think those are the teams that I look at and I'm like, okay, China came in. We expected them not do great. And I mean, they didn't. They got blown out pretty badly in both games. I'm looking at it. I don't think I see, like, I'm not Lebanon. I don't know. The rest of these countries are mostly soccer nations, and Japan,
Yeah.
obviously, baseball nation, I would say,
Yeah.
definitely. So I in the Middle East, I personally think soccer will always dominate.
Yeah.
Soccer's probably going to dominate, and I know
Baseball too.
baseball, exactly.
Yeah.
Baseball is growing big in Mexico, and I think personally baseball will be better for them in the upcoming years than basketball. But from what I'm looking at, those are my two teams that I look at, and obviously Finland. But aside from those three, I don't see another team that will shock me. I will say those two. I will not be surprised if Finland. I 100% believe they'll be back.
Yeah.
Philippines will definitely be back, and China will be back. Those three, I personally think, will take the biggest jumps out of the rest of these teams over the next 10 years.
Yeah. I think the interesting thing about teams like Egypt and Lebanon and Jordan and Angola and stuff is that it's not even that they lack any sort of talent.
No.
It's that they're not big destinations for overseas players. You're typically going to see overseas players go to China. You're going to see them go to the Philippines or go to one of the Eastern European countries. So it's interesting to see those teams, because I agree that China 100% just based off of the fact that so many guys go over to China to play ball. I mean,
Big.
dude, Jimmer Fredette was like a god there. He
Yeah.
was just absolutely killing it. So they're gonna have people playing for them in the coming years.
I mean, I think also
Yeah,
population has to come into this, man. 1 billion
yeah,
people in China. It's just what it is. It's a lot of people, man. I
yeah,
don't see a world. I don't see a world where they don't get any better. That's the thing. I
yeah.
personally get a lot better.
Especially like you said, with the influence that the NBA has had in China over the
Dude,
last like 10 years.
yeah,
Um,
ginormous. Yes.
hopefully we see more Chinese players coming into the league. I think that's always been the biggest knock on the NBA is just the lack of Asian inclusion
Yeah.
in this sport. A lot of people, and I, myself included, still feel like Jeremy Lin was slighted big time as a
Definitely.
player that deserved to be in the league. So, I do hope that China really grows as a sport, or basketball grows in
Yeah.
China.
I
So
personally really agree that they will.
yeah, and Finland is just, again, it's one of those European nations where they're just good, man.
Yeah,
Like
they're
when you
good.
watch them, they're just good.
They play basketball, man. They know how to play. I'll say that.
Yeah,
They make
I
the
don't
right
know what it is, dude. Though all
dude.
those countries just like
Know how to
they
pass.
just
They
have
know how to
shooters,
shoot,
they could
bro.
play
Yeah. Yeah,
mates.
exactly. They
None of them play defense, but
no.
damn it, do they score?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they can definitely put the ball in, man. And then
yeah.
yeah, Venezuela, I personally think they're a big baseball country now.
Oh yeah,
So
huge baseball.
yeah, that's why it's
Yeah.
not that I don't think these countries couldn't get better. I just personally think they're more focused in other sports.
Yeah. Again, it's also just like overseas players just aren't really
Yeah.
going to Venezuela. Like they'll go for baseball.
Oh
They'll
yeah.
go to play baseball in Venezuela, but
Yeah.
they're not like there probably is, but I don't think there's a huge swath of players choosing Venezuela to play overseas. So
I mean, you want to go to the
um
bigger market like China or yeah, like you mentioned,
China, or
Philippines,
yeah, or
Eastern Europe. Yeah.
Israel, like just all
Yeah.
over the place where
Philippines.
they've got big basketball countries. So
Yeah.
um yeah. So moving on, we're getting into again the meat and potatoes of the episode. FIBA week 2, or set of games number 2. Google does not seem to like to use good terminology, so we're gonna do it our way. But uh, starting off, Italy, Dominican Republic. Very close game. Italy fighting to stay alive here. So was Dominican, or not Dominican Republic, but they were fighting. Italy was fighting, and Dominican Republic again coming away with a win. Obviously, week 1 getting the win over the Philippines. This time, 87-82 victory for the DR. Let's just get into the stats. What do you got there, Dom?
Yeah. So we'll start off with Italy. Luigi Datome, 8-2-1. Nicolo Melli, you mentioned you remember him. I'm actually looking at his picture right now, and he kind of looks familiar.
Yeah, he played for the Pelicans last time I remember him. I know
Yeah,
you said he was also with the Spurs for some time, which I do
yeah.
like kind of remember.
6-7-1. Stefano Tonut, 8-1. Marco Spisu, 17-5-4. Matteo Spagnolo, 4-1. Achille Polonara, 10-2-2. Mohamed Diouf, I believe that was a DNP. Alessandro Pajola, 4-1-2. Simone Fontecchio, 13-3-2. Luca Severini, 0-2-1. Gabriel Procida, DNP. Gianpaolo Ricci, 12-6. And not to mention, this team should have had Paulo. They're
Right,
very
yeah.
they're very mad about him not playing with them. So that probably a different team if they had Paulo.
Yeah, I wonder if next time around or in the Olympics if he'll play for them or not. But
Yeah, I don't know. And then moving on to the DR, Cat 24-11-5. Another
another
strong
big game.
performance from him. Yes.
Yeah,
Lester Quinones 2-0-0. He's kind of had a really interesting.
hasn't played too much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's not really getting the minutes you think he would
let the
get for
boy
being an
play.
NBA player. I know. And
Yeah,
then LJ Figueroa, 7 minutes, 1 assist. Gerardo Suero, DNP. Eloy Vargas, 3-7. Andres Feliz, 24-5-5. Victor Lee,
huge game. Yeah,
yeah, those two were pretty strong last game too. Victor Lee's also with 9-1. Gelvis Solana, 0-0-1. Gene Montero, 12-6-9. Rigoberto Mendoza, 3-1. Antonio Pena, 3-0-1. Angel Delgado, 7-4. And moving on to the team stats, they both shot 43% from the field. DR had the big advantage in the three-point category, shooting 41% to Italy's 24%. Free throw percentage, Italy shot 94% to Dominican Republic's 76%. 22 assists go to the DR. They beat Italy by 8 assists. Offensive rebounds, neck and neck, 10-9. Defensive rebounds, tied. So the rebounds were literally separated by 1 for DR. Steals, 5-4, another pretty close stat. Blocks, 3-2. Turnovers, which is very surprising to see. Dominican Republic lost a turnover battle with 13 to Italy's 7. Fouls, 21-20. These are all very close. It seems that Italy capitalized on those turnovers, it looked like, too, with the fast break points leading with 16 to Dominican's 4. Points in the paint, Italy won that also, 34-26. Points from the bench, Italy takes it again, 28-21. Points from turnovers, Italy, 12-8. Second chance points is where the DR kind of killed them, 16-2.
Jeez, yeah.
And time leading, 19 minutes, 22 for DR, 19-46 for Italy. So like you mentioned, they were fighting back and forth. It's a pretty close game. I just think personally the star power that DR had compared to Italy is kind of what separates them a bit.
Yeah, 100%. Also, like you said, second chance points. As a Warriors fan, playing small ball all the time, that is typically like one of the things I try to key in on, because if the Warriors are getting dogged in the offensive rebounds, it's just an ugly game.
Yeah.
And then, not being able to get the defensive, even though they did tie in defensive rebounds, it must have just been timely misses for the defensive rebounds, leading to a ton more threes. I mean, you see the 3-point differential, 39 attempts for the DR to 29 for Italy. And then, of course, DR shooting 41% from three, to the DR or to Italy shooting 24%. So,
I mean, I'm impressed with DR, man. They're coming out strong, because I think Italy's a mid-grade team. They're not a bad team.
No, they look good here. Like, again, 2 categories. That's really it.
Yeah.
They kept the turnovers in check.
They held their own.
They fouled less.
Yeah.
They fouled only 2 more.
2 more. Yeah. But still, man, I'm thoroughly impressed with DR right now, because they're coming out strong into this tournament, man. They're technically first in their bracket also, so they're to look out for. I mean, I like them going in.
Moving on to Australia versus Germany, another absolute dogfight. This one ended in a bit of chaos. In the final 5 seconds of the game, Josh Giddey was inbounded the ball, and at the time the score is, as it finished, 85-82, Germany winning. Giddey gets the ball and moves up court to take a full court shot, and pretty clearly gets fouled, falling to the ground, shooting shot that probably wouldn't have gone in, but got fouled, and the refs no-called it. No-called what could have been a potential 3 free throw set for Giddey that could have put the game into overtime. So Germany narrowly escaping with the win there, and escaping is, literal usage there. But just a crazy game again. What a game for Dennis Schroeder. I mean, you could get into the stats, but a big 30 bomb from Schroeder with 8 assists. So huge standout there today.
Yeah, so we get into Germany, man, and this team we understood they'd be good, but I think they're a lot better than we thought, to be honest.
They're rolling, yeah.
They are rolling, man, because, I'm getting into it right now. Another team with pretty solid minutes distribution as well. So,
and this was without Franz Wagner, too, just to preface.
Without Franz Wagner, arguably their best player. So we'll start right there. And like you mentioned last time, Isaac Bonga, we saw more of him. 9-1-3, 14 minutes for him. Maodo Lowe, 21-1. Niels Jiffy, 2-0-0. And I think it's Giffy, my bad. Johannes Voigtman, 7-6-4. Daniel Tice, 9-4-1. Mo Wagner, 4-4. Justice Holutz, 0-1-1. Johann Steinman, 2-5. Andres Obst, 2-2, and a DNP for David Kramer. And that moving on to Australia. Duop Reith, who we mentioned last, has been pretty
Yeah,
solid for their
he was
center.
hitting threes and everything. He was kind of
Yeah,
all over the place.
he's been interesting for sure. 8-3, Giddy, 17-1-3. Matisse, 2-0-0. Dyson Daniels, a DNP. Josh Green, 6-1-0. Joe Ingles, 5-4-1. Xavier Cooks, 9-5-2. Nick K, 5-3-3. Chris Golding, DNP. Dante Exum, 9-4-3. Jack White, 0-2-0. Patty Mills, 21-5-6. So it seems to be he's still leading that Australia team, man. He is definitely the guy for that team right now. And
He's
viewing
a
it,
demon. Yeah.
big time. 54% for Australia from the field, 50% from Germany, 47% from three for Australia versus Germany's 36%. Australia shooting 56% from the free throw line to Germany's 80%.
Yet he missed a clutch free throw at the end of the game too.
I did see
So
that. Yeah,
yeah,
that's never gonna help. And then the assists tied for 18 each. Offensive rebounds, Australia wins in the category 8-6. Defensive rebounds, Australia wins in the category 24-21. Total rebounds, they obviously win 32-27. Steals, Germany with 9 to Australia's 4. So yeah, that's never gonna help. Blocks, 3-3, tied. Turnovers, tied 3-3. Fouls, Germany 19 to Australia's 16. Fast break, tied at 9 apiece. Germany led the biggest lead with 11. Points in the paint goes to Australia, 38 to Germany's 34. Points from the bench, 29 from Australia to Germany's 28. Points from turnovers, Germany 17 to Australia's 15. Second chance points goes to Australia with 7-4. And time leading, Germany with 28 minutes to Australia's 9 minutes.
jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the bringing up the 3-point percentage is interesting because it's another case of attempts.
Yeah.
Germany shooting 30 attempts from three compared to Australia's 19. So even though Australia made 9 of 19 for 47%,
Yeah.
shooting 11 less,
Yeah,
and
no,
then I mean Germany only made 2 more. So
yeah.
that's really only a 6-point swing there, but
I
still,
mean,
yeah.
36% still a pretty solid percentage to shoot too. So
Oh yeah, that's above
that's
average
yeah,
still.
that's
Yeah.
that's very
It's
solid.
just the big thing in this game, clearly by the score, is the free throws. I mean,
Yeah,
missing 7 free throws.
that's never gonna help you.
Yeah, with only 16 attempts too. So that's like
Pretty
you're not getting your bang for your buck there. But
bad. Definitely.
yeah, Patty Mills, man, continues to be a demon, leading the way there with 21, 5, and 6. It's amazing to see this dude play for Australia because you're never gonna see Patty Mills play like this in the NBA.
No.
It just does not happen. He had like 1 year with San Antonio where he was like kind of helping score, but for the most part, he's always been a role player, always kind of either come off the bench or been like a more of a backup guard. But yeah, he's got the reins there in Australia, and every time he's on the floor, he shines.
Yeah.
I'm continuing to just get excited seeing Dante Exum play well.
Yeah.
Like you said, 9, 4, and 3 for him. He hit another three, kind of a big one too. Dante, again, we say it again. Dante had so much promise in the league when he got drafted in like what 2013, 14.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, and the big issue was that trying to see if the offense would come around because defensively he's great, still is. But the offense just never followed. So even though it's FIBA, the line is a little bit shorter. It's still nice to see Dante kind of putting in some offense and giving a little bit of a scoring punch for this Australia team. And hopefully we could see that translate for the Mavericks, having another guy like that, because I think I'd like to see Dante do well in the league. Yeah, but Germany as well, man. Isaac Bonga, like we said, Franz Wagner being out, more minutes are going to shore up for other guys, and Bonga is taking it and running with it with 9, 1, and 3 for him. The defense as well, but I think obviously you just got to talk about Schroeder, who just had an absolutely incredible game, just scoring at all 3 levels. Schroeder has never really been the best 3-point guy, but he's always been a really good shot creator. Yeah. And today he just had every move working. He was taking any matchup and cooking dudes. Those were some fun highlights to watch. But like we also said, shout out to Mado Low, who put up 21-1 as a
Yeah.
secondary scorer, coming off the bench too. So that was pretty big there. But yeah, overall, fantastic game. Very evenly matched up.
Yeah, very much so.
Moving on to another one of the games we're going to kind of fly through here. Montenegro versus Egypt. Montenegro, again, has Nikola Vucevic. So really the only big name there. Egypt does not have a single guy from the league playing. So this was kind of, 15-point win for Montenegro. So not too bad. Better for Egypt, who has kind of gotten mollywopped a little bit. But yeah, you could get into the stats there.
Yeah, definitely. For Montenegro, you have Kendrick Perry having 11, 2, and 7. You have Vuce, 16, 7, and 1. Vladimir Mihailovic, 10, 1, and 1. Alexa Ilic, 0, 1, 0. Nemanja Radovic, 8 and 3. That name sounds familiar. I'd have to look into that. And you have Bojan Dubovic with 6, 4, and 0. Marko Simonovic, 5, 6, and 4. Peter Popovic, 6, 1, and 0. Andrea Slakovic, 2, 2, and 1. Nikola Ivanovic, 15, 2, and 2. And you have a DNP for Igor Drob. I don't want to butcher his name.
They're tough, man. Don't worry.
Yeah, that one. I'm sorry, guys. I can't get. And Dino Radonic, 10 and 7. I do remember him. I don't think he's in the league anymore, but he was a while ago, I believe. And we'll move on to Egypt with a DNP for Omar Arabi, Asim Marai with 0, 1, and 0, Amar Hussein, 4, 1, and 0, Khalid Abdel Gawad, 5, 2, and 1, Yusuf Abu Shusha, 4, 4, and 1, Anas Mahmoud, 13, 7, and 3, Adam Musa, 2, 0, and 2, Amir El Gendi, 7, 2, and 4, Ihab Amin, 26, 3, and 2, Kareem El Ghazawi, 0, 2, and 3, Amar Zahran, 0, 0, and 1, and Patrick Gardner with 13 and 8. And the team stats, you have Montenegro shooting 50% from the field to Egypt's 41%. Montenegro shooting a 31% from 3 and to Egypt's 27%. You have Montenegro shooting 88% from the line to Egypt's 75%. And the assists, Egypt wins by 1, 17 to 16. Offensive rebounds, Montenegro wins 11 to 10. Defensive rebounds, 27 to 24. Another stat that Montenegro takes. Total rebounds, 38 to 34 for Montenegro. Steals, wow. 15 steals to Egypt's 10. So they both got a decent amount for
22 turnover game for Egypt. Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, that's bad. And then the blocks are tied 4 apiece. Turnovers, 22 to 16. Fouls, 17 to 16. Fast break points, Montenegro 17 to 15. Biggest lead, Montenegro 19 to Egypt's 3. Points in the paint, Montenegro wins that 48 to 36. Points from the bench, 41 to 29. Points from turnovers, Montenegro dominated there, 30 to 17. Second chance points, tied at 12 apiece. Biggest scoring run, Montenegro with 13. Time leading, 37 minutes for Montenegro.
Jeez.
So
yeah, the biggest standout for me again. It in today's day and age, man, it continues to come down to those threes. 10 extra attempts, shooting 27%. Like Egypt played a solid game.
They did.
They shot well. Relatively well from the field. That field goal percentage obviously impacted by not making threes. Shot pretty well from the free throw line. Rebounded well, both offensive and defensive. Moved the ball as much as they could. Montenegro, obviously, I'm imagining, read the passing lanes very well. The forced 22 turnovers, that's pretty crazy. Few 20-plus turnover games for the Warriors. Those are absolutely infuriating. So I can't imagine how the Egypt fans feel.
Yeah.
And they didn't foul too much. So really, it was just the, shooting and the turnovers. And ironically, 22 turnovers only netted a final shot total of +3 for Montenegro.
Yeah.
So it's not like Montenegro took like 20 extra shots. Like they only took 3 more shots than Egypt. So the turnovers didn't really lead to too much.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So, you know, it's valiant effort by Egypt. This was a way better of a showing than game one for them.
Very much so. Yeah.
So
I would say Montenegro is the middle of the pack team also. I'd say
yeah,
they're probably a little maybe higher echelon of the middle of the pack, but they're decent.
yeah, especially if Vucevic is like playing at his best, then
Yeah.
they can be a tough team to beat.
Definitely not a slouch. Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of similar with Dominican Republic. It's like
Oh yeah.
CAD is such a hard matchup, especially for overseas guys who just don't face centers like that.
Yeah.
In their home country. So it's kind of like shock when you first have to go up against it, and it's the same with Vooch. So
yeah, I would imagine.
But yeah, interesting game there. 15-point win for Montenegro, who's staying alive. Moving on from there, absolute blowout.
Yeah.
Team Canada smoking Lebanon 128-73. Sorry, Lebanon. Hopefully next time. But they just did not really stand a chance. Before we open it, I'd like to shout out Amari Spellman again, Warriors legend, leading the way for Lebanon with 16-3-2.
Oh yeah.
I did want to get that out of the way, but you're good to go, man. Yeah.
Sounds good. We have Lebanon with Kareem Zanoun, 15-2-2. Wael Arakehi, I'm gonna take a guess there. 8-1-5. Kareem Raphael Ezzedine, 0-1-0. Had Khalil, 2-0-1. Hayek Giochian, 8-1-3. Ali Haider, 11-3-1. Ali Mansour, 0-1-0. Sergio El Darwich, 9-1-1. Mark El Curry, 0-0-1. And obviously Spellman. And Amir Saud, 4-0-2, and Ali Mazir with 0-3-1. And then moving on to Canada, which everyone on this team had almost 10. So we have
spread scoring.
Trey Bell Haynes, 15-2-8. Dylan Brooks, 10-0-3. Phil Scrubs, 6-2-5. Zach Edey with 12-4-2. Kyle Alexander, 10-4-2. RJ Barrett, 17-1-3. Dwight Powell, 9-3-1. Melvin Ajim, 13-5-3. SGA, 12-5-5. Nikhil Alexander Walker, 12-1-7. Dort with the DMP, and Kelly Olynyk with 12-8-5. So you have a team stat that I have not seen. I don't think we've seen this tournament besides that one Serbia game. You have
71%.
71% from the field. That is in absolute insanity.
Jesus.
And Lebanon, the worst part, 48% from the field as a unit. It's not bad.
That's not bad. And they shot 42%
Yeah.
from 3, but Canada shot
Yeah,
60% on 30 attempts.
Yeah, that is kind of insane, man. And then this free throw, 71 to Lebanon's 100%.
They shot only 5 free throws.
Not to mention, they broke the assist record in FIBA with 44 assists. 44 assists.
Jesus.
I don't think I've ever seen that in my life. So that is insanity. Because Lebanon with 19 assists. 19 assists is probably realistically decent.
That's like maybe right below average. Yeah.
Exactly. And then the offensive rebounds, you have Canada with 12 to Lebanon's 8. Defensive rebounds, that's pretty bad. 24-10. Canada out rebounding you 14 more. And then the rebound total, Canada with 36-18. And 18 rebound lead is big, man. That is something. The steals, though, 13-12. Canada barely ekes out that. Blocks tied at 1 apiece. Turnovers, 22. That's a good amount. Canada, 15. Fouls, Lebanon with 18 to Canada's 11. Fast break points, 26-6 for Canada, man. That is a lot. Biggest lead, 61 points to Lebanon's 4. Points in the paint, 60 points in the paint, man, to Lebanon's 42, which is probably like above average.
Yeah.
That's not bad, man. And then points from the bench. I've never seen this before. 68 to Lebanon's 29. Yeah. Points from turnovers, 41 to Lebanon's 20. Second chance points, 16 to Lebanon's 5. It's just this is a game, man. You have Canada winning 36 minutes of this game, man. This is I've never seen that. I've seen crazy FIBA games, but this is the 44 assists is like, wow. That is literally the record.
to think here. What is okay. So 27, 47. That's a 50, if I'm not dumb. I think that's like a 55-point win for
Yeah,
Canada.
it is. I mean,
That's
there's been worse in the past, obviously the Dream Team and such, but
yeah,
for
recent
current
memory. Yeah.
memory, this is bad. Yeah, this is just a whole total class above of
Yeah. Again,
yeah,
this is the Alabama versus the liberal arts school.
this is what
So
it is, man. Yeah, that's
um,
not to be honest, I'm looking at Lebanon stats, man. They really didn't play
they
horrible.
didn't play bad. It's just they didn't get to the free throw line
No.
pretty much at all. Defensive rebounding, just far superior
Yeah,
athletes for Team Canada.
big time.
You can't, there's like nothing you can't teach that. You can't get, it's like, if you
That
can't
NBA
compete with
talent,
the
man.
athletes, yeah.
That
I
NBA
mean,
talent, bro. It's just it is what it is, man. I can't you can't
only one guy for
one
Canada
guy.
didn't have a rebound, and that's Dylan Brooks, surprisingly. Like,
Yeah,
RJ had a rebound. Kelly had 8. Shea, 5. Dwight, 3. Trey Bell Haynes, 2. Alexander, 4. Scrub, 2. Ejim,
dude,
5. Edie, 4.
this team,
Nikhil, 1.
man, they're firing. They're firing on all cylinders right now.
Yeah, it's going to be, I mean, the game against France, I
Yeah,
think we all agree shouldn't have gone the way it
dude,
should have. France just sucked against everyone.
they got
But
smacked. Yeah,
I do want to see Canada really face some top teams, and they're going to as the
they're
weeks
going to,
go
man.
on. So,
Yeah, they're.
um,
I to be honest, man, they're. Yeah, they're on a different level right now. I'll say that.
yeah.
They're,
Moving on from here, we got the Philippines and Angola. This is another one we're kind of going to fly through. Philippines, unfortunately, getting eliminated here. Only real standout again, Jordan Clarkson,
yeah,
21s, 3 and 7. No one else really was able to do much, but
yeah.
yeah,
Okay, so I'll get right into it. James Malonzo, 0-2-0. Dwight Ramos, who we mentioned last video, it seemed to be his running mate, I guess I would say.
yeah.
8-3-1. And Renz Abondo, 2-1-1. Kai Zachary Soto is someone that I do know. He was in the Philippines a few years ago. He was scouted as NBA talent. I don't know what happened to him since. He's a center, I believe, or a power forward, if I'm not mistaken. But
Oh, I
he,
remember that dude. Yeah,
yeah, he
the
was
big
very big
guy.
in
What
the
is he like
Philippines.
7'3", something like
Yeah,
that?
he's big in
Yeah,
the Philippines a few years ago. He was supposed to come over. I never followed that story, but that's someone I
yeah,
do recognize. He had 8-6-1. But that, like you mentioned, that's someone that to be before him, and I've never really heard of anyone coming out of the Philippines. So I think as years go on,
yeah.
we'll start seeing a lot more. So that's something to look out for a team like this. So next we have CJ Perez with 7-4-3, Roger Pugoy 8-0-1, June Mar Fajardo 4-7-1, Kiefer Ravina 3-0-0, Jordan Clarkson, like we mentioned. And we move on to Scotty Thompson with 0-4-2, and Ariel Johnny Do 9-6-0. And let's get right to Angola. Kevin Kokila 4-2-0. Silvio de Sousa 10-5-0. Bruno Fernando, he had a very good game.
Another one. Yeah.
I watched the highlights. He had a very solid game. He stood out to me the most. 14-7-2. Yao Fernandez, 8 minutes, no stats recorded, or from my angle. Lionel Paulo, 2-2-0, sorry. Hilson Bongo, 10-7-2. Childe Dundao, 4-1-4. Gerson Goncalves, 17-6-1. Dimitri Makonda, 1 assist. Herson Domingos, 15-1-7. Eduardo Francisco, 3-1-0. Antonio Monteiro, 1-2-0. And the team stats, you have a clunk fest from both sides, man. This
Yeah.
is ugly one. 42% from the Philippines from the field to Angola's 37%. And you have the Philippines, man, 18% from 3 to Angola's 29%, man. That is bad from both sides.
Yeah.
You have free throws, 80% from the Philippines to Angola's 73%. Tied in the assists at 17 apiece. Offensive rebounds went to Angola with 20-12. Defensive rebounds goes to the Philippines with 27-23. Total rebounds, Angola ekes them out by 4 with 43-39. 10 steals from Angola to Philippines 2. Blocks 4-3 for Angola. Turnovers, Philippines 15 to Angola's 11. Fouls, 24 for Angola versus Philippines, 18. Fast break points, 17 points to 4 for Angola, taking that. And you have points in the paint with 36 to Angola to Philippines 34. Points from the bench, 32 to 28 for Angola again. Points from turnovers, Philippines win this with 19 to Angola's 14. Second chance points, 14 to 8 for Angola. And you have Angola leading the game 22 minutes. I mean, the takeaway I saw from this game personally, and I don't know if this is realistic, but I thought Angola had the better athletes. I personally thought they played a lot more physical than the Philippines from what I saw. And I kind of think they just played a pretty good brand of like smash mouth basketball. There was a lot of paint I saw from Angola.
And I
But
think also it looked like Philippines was just playing a lot more conservatively on defense.
yeah,
I think the steals, like it's not like required that you get a lot of steals, but to only have two, that
yeah,
seems like a very low number.
I agree.
Especially in a game where, like, in this entire FIBA tournament, it's hard to build chemistry. You're playing with guys for the first time, for the most part. So to not be able to force turnovers against, lackluster chemistry teams, that's kind of rough.
Yeah.
Like sometimes those are things that just keep you alive. But again, even though shooting 18% from three, 42% from the field,
Yeah.
15 turnovers, Philippines only lost by 10.
Yeah.
It was not a
Not a bad
blowout.
game. Yeah, no, not a blowout at all.
Moving on, Japan versus Finland. Japan taking the win here, surprisingly, 98 to 88. A big win for Japan. Big standout there. Again, we kind of prefaced it last week. Josh Hawkinson, man, that dude showed out week 1, and it was like, okay, he kind of means business.
Yeah.
The way here for both sides, 28 points and 19 rebounds.
Yeah.
Huge game. You take it from there, man.
Yeah. By the way, he's, I believe, 4th in FIBA scoring right now in the points per game. So
He's killing it.
Yeah. So we have leading the way also is Yuki Kawamura, 25, 1-9. Very solid game. And obviously Hawkinson. And next, Kasai Tominaga, 17, 1-2. And I have to mention Yuta, who had an interesting game with 4-0-2. And going to the Finland side for their top 3, we have Markkanen, man, 27, 12-1, man. He's putting in work. And then you have Idon Maxuni, 12, 1-5. And Mikhail Jantunen with 13, 3-5. And
we're your summer league legend, baby.
And then, yeah, the stats are pretty equal. And you have Japan shooting 51% from the field, Finland shooting 45%, 41% from 3 for Finland to Japan's 39%. Pretty close there. Free throw percentage goes to Finland, 85 to Japan's 79. Assist, Finland with 28 to Japan's 24. Offensive rebounds, Finland 13-9. Defensive rebounds, Japan 27-22. Big thanks to Hawkinson there, I believe.
Yeah.
And rebounds, 36 for Japan versus Finland's 35. 9 to 8 steals for Japan, 4 blocks for Japan to Finland's 2. Turnovers, 14-13. Japan with more. Fouls, Finland with 24 to Japan's 19. Fast break, 14 Japan to Finland's 13. Biggest lead goes to Finland with 18-10. Points in the paint, 34, tied apiece. Points from the bench, Japan with 61 to Finland's 21, man. They got killed in that area. Points from turnovers, Japan 15-12. Second chance points, Finland 11-9. And you have Finland leading this game 20 minutes. So
yeah, I'm laughing because Finland took 70 shots to Japan's 58.
Yeah.
The big difference here, the big thing that obviously led one for Japan, they took 34 free throws. 34. Any basketball game, that's insane.
That is
if a team shoots over 30 free throws, that's coach is breaking the clipboard.
Especially with the FIBA whistle too. This is not an NBA whistle. This is a FIBA whistle. Yeah.
But I'm looking at that, And all I could think of is Josh Hawkinson was just causing havoc for these dudes. And like you said, the bench scoring,
Yeah.
25, 17, and 17, all off the bench for Japan.
Yeah.
25 and 9 for Yuki Kawamura coming off the bench.
Big.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah.
That's big, man.
So just an absolutely just a great game for Japan. I mean, to shoot that like that few shots and come away with the win while shooting worse from three, while barely winning the rebound category, barely losing the assist. I mean, those free throws just 100% carried there.
Big time.
But like you said, shout out Lowry. He just continues to be a monster for Finland. God, I hope he continues to be this great for Utah, because this dude is going to be one of the top 10 players in the league soon if he keeps it up.
Big time.
Moving on for that from there, we're
Lithuania, Mexico.
Lithuania, Mexico. Unfortunate blowout loss, kind of knocking out Mexico there. Lithuania winning 96-66.
Yeah.
Lithuania obviously led by Jonas Valanciunas, big, relatively big name in the NBA, plays for the Pelicans.
Yeah.
Mexico just did not really have the scoring. Leading scorer only Gabriel Heron Jr. with 13 points. We could get right into it for the scoring if you got it.
Yeah, Mexico. Paco Cruz, 10-2-3. Joshua Ibarra. That name sounds familiar with 9-6-0. And Israel Gutierrez, 10-5. And yeah, that's
pretty much it. Just a very, very slow game for them. Didn't even score 20 points in a quarter once.
You get over to Lithuania, and I have to mention it right off the bat. They have more NBA talent. I'm looking at it right now. Donatas Motiejunas used to play for the Rockets. He had 10-2. And they had Ignas Brazdeikis, and I remember him also. I don't remember.
We were talking about him. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I thought it was the Nets. It was the Knicks.
Yes,
Cleveland, and someone else. Yeah.
Yeah. He had 10-5. Motiejunas 15-12. You have Rokas Yoku Betis with 15-3-7. And just as a team, man, they played pretty well, man. They shot 57% from the field to Mexico's 35% from the field. Shot 43% as a unit to Mexico's 29%. Free throws, very close, 76% to Mexico's 77%. Assists, Lithuania with the win there with 23-19. Mexico with more offensive rebounds, 9-8. Defensive rebounds, man. They eat defensive rebounds. Probably Valanciunas makes sense. 39-20 on the defensive rebounds, man.
Plus 19 for Lithuania. Yeah.
47 total rebounds to 29 for Lithuania, man. And then you got Mexico's 9 steals to 5. And then you got Lithuania 7 blocks to 2. 14 turnovers Lithuania to Mexico's 11. And fouls tied 15 apiece. Fast break, Lithuania 19-8. Biggest lead, 32-0. And points in the paint, 44 Lithuania to 34. Points from the bench, 49-32. And points from turnovers, Mexico, 19-12. Second chance points, 13-6 for Lithuania. And you have Lithuania leading for 39 minutes. And wow.
Yeah. That's probably like, maybe the first, like half the first quarter, then the rest, Lithuania.
Lithuania, man. They just, man.
Yeah. It's just tough when teams just don't have NBA talent. It's,
It is, man. It is like it's like we mentioned, Mexico's probably a lower middle tier, maybe even below
probably
that.
bottom, because
bottom.
Mexico does get a relatively steady amount of overseas guys, but just not enough, and at least not enough people playing for Team Mexico. I imagine they're probably playing for their home countries if there are guys that do play overseas. So it's tough for any of these teams just rolling in with all homegrown guys. It's cool, and you hope to see some like Cinderella story, but when you're matched up against these dudes, even a team like Lithuania, where it's like, Ignas Brazdeikis out of the league, Donatas Motiejunas out of the league, Jonas Valanciunas, B tier player, maybe B minus tier player in the league, solid center. But like those three guys, there's just You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. It's a weird team they got in Lithuania, but hey, they steamrolled Mexico, man. I'll say that.
yeah. To move on from there, one of the bigger games again,
Oh,
getting eliminated here. France losing to Latvia in another nail biter,
upset.
88-86. Latvia taking the win. Just a huge game from Artur Zagars. Watching the highlights, that dude was just going off. Same with Roland Smits. He was hitting so many shots, dude. And there were some tough ass hits. So
Dude, yeah,
credit to him.
they had a very very great game. But the only thing I did notice, I didn't understand why Davis wasn't starting. He had a pretty solid game himself.
I think he's been coming off the bench every single game, but yeah,
I mean,
he's been
they
yeah.
need a punch maybe off the bench. I guess that makes sense.
I
Yeah.
think it. No, it's not his brother. Okay,
Dyrus Bertons? That's not.
no, the Dyrus has an accent over his A. Davis doesn't. So
Hmm.
just that's probably like a common name in
Yeah,
Latvia.
that makes sense. So I'll get into it right there. Andres Grazilis, 4-2-2. Rodion Karuks, 2-5-4. NBA talent. I don't think he's in the league anymore, but he was.
Yeah,
Davis, 15-4-2. Dyrus Bertons, 8-0-0. Roland Smits, like you mentioned, had a game, 22-2. Artus Stratuns, 0-0-2. Klavs Kavars, 0-1-0. Igar Skele, 2-1-1. Onze or Onze, Onze or Onze,
Onzej Pashiniks.
Onzej Pasanic, 0-2-0. Arturs Karuks, 2-1-1. Arturs Zagars,
Yeah,
2-2-5. And we have Christier Zuriks with 13-0-1. And then moving on to France with Mustafa Fall, 0-0-1. Batum, 13-4-2. Akobo, another NBA talent, 0-0-1. Sylvain Francisco, 8-0-3. Nando De Colo, 0-1-8. Terry Tarpe, 7-5-2. Yakuba Otara, DNP. Isaiah Cordinier, 0-0-1. Yabusele, 18-2-2. Solid game. Matthias Lestort, 4-5-0. Rudy Gobert with 9-7-2, and Fournier with 27-3-1. And moving on to the team stats, they both shot 52%, 40% from three to France's 51%, 83% from France to 62% from Latvia. And then moving on to assists, France wins the category 23-20. Offensive rebounds tied at 10 apiece. France with another defensive rebounding with 21-15. Total rebounds 31-25. Steals, Latvia with 13 to France 6. And blocks, France takes it 3-2. Turnovers, France 20-14. Fouls 19-21. Latvia wins that. Fast break points 5-4 for Latvia. Biggest lead, you have France with 13-2. And points in the paint 36-18 for Latvia. And points from the bench 32-19. And points from turnovers 26 for Latvia to France's 17. Second chance points, Latvia with 22 to France's 13. And you have France leading 37 minutes of this game, 38 basically.
yeah. This is I related to the Warriors because that's the team I watch, but this is like the typical Warriors loss last season. It was 20 turnovers, and you just took like 10 plus less shots than your opponent.
Yeah.
France shot the ball incredibly, but 11 less shots.
Yeah, they got dominated in that fourth quarter, man. That's what it was. That fourth quarter, they got dominated. They were very. I thought they had it, but and then the fourth quarter came around and Latvia turned up and they killed them in that quarter, man.
Outscored them 26-12.
Yeah, that's
rough fourth quarter for France there.
Yeah, let's say the least. Yeah, man. I mean, like this is an upset, man. I mean, Latvia is not a bad team. I'm not saying that.
No,
they're very solid, but you have a team that, like we mentioned, they're supposed to be top 3, and you lose to probably a middle of the pack team, and it's just it's bad, man. It's embarrassing.
Again, it's one of those things. It's almost like the Philippines in a sense, where it's like it's Jordan Clarkson versus all because he's really the only main scorer. It's like aside from Fournier, I don't see a single guy on that team that could go get me 15 plus.
Yeah, on a nightly basis, definitely.
Yeah, Batum
with 18, but that's not very common. That's not going to be a common occurrence.
No, and like we said to preface all the FIBA stuff, it's like down the road, we could see Wemby and Bilal play. And who
Yeah.
knows? I mean, in 2024, a season down for Bilal, who knows where he could be? Because we already kind of have a gist of, the floor of Wembanyama, but like
Yeah.
someone like Bilal,
We have
that
no
could be a
idea. Yeah.
huge swing. It's almost like Nikola Jovic for
Miami
Serbia.
or Serbia. Yeah. Yeah. He had
Yeah.
a great game too. Yeah.
Yeah, if those dudes take a leap, these countries just become far better than they already are. So,
Yeah. I agree with
um,
you on that one.
yeah, France is definitely kind of anemic at the moment.
And
But again, very lucky for them that they are hosting the Olympics, so they kind of get to just stick around, by proxy.
they get lucky,
Yeah,
to
but
say the least.
yeah, Latvia looking really good. Not
Yeah.
playing with Kristaps Porzingis, which I think
Yeah.
is the best part. Is like Latvia's killing it without him.
Yeah.
So with him, even better.
I saw him in the crowd. Yeah.
Yeah, he was excited
Very excited.
after. Well, he's in Boston now. He's going to be playing some winning basketball, and he gets to watch Latvia win.
Very much so. Oh, and
Moving on,
by the
yeah,
way, he has the injury, right, with his foot, and he can't walk on it. Is that correct? It's
oh
something.
really?
It's a pain in his foot. I don't know the
Huh.
exact name of it, but it's something that we might need to keep out for the season to look out.
Okay, I didn't even know he was hurt, so that's okay. That I just thought he wasn't playing, but that makes sense then.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully, I mean, yeah, Boston does not want that dude missing much time. You do not want another Gordon Hayward situation, so
Yeah, definitely
hope for
not.
the best there.
Yeah.
Um, Moving on, another kind of fly through game here. We got South Sudan 20 balling China 89-69.
Yeah.
Big game though for Kyle Anderson, who had quite the disappointing game one today, or in game two here against South Sudan. 22 points, 5 boards, and 3 assists. And the guy that I've been just having a ton of fun watching, Carlik Jones for South Sudan, 21 points and 6 assists. Those are the only two I wanted to mention. Take it away.
For sure, man. So yeah, like you mentioned, Kyle Anderson, a good game. Then you have Zhao Qi, 10-3-1, and you have Rui Zhao, sorry, with 13-2-2, and that's pretty much it for China on that end. That's important. You have for Sudan, you have Mariel Shayuk with 13-3-2, Kuani
Kwani.
Kwani, okay, with 16-1-4, and you have, like you mentioned, Carlik Jones with a great game, Nuni Amat with 14-3-2, and Majuk Dang. And I believe I read something, and it was about Luol Deng and how I believe he's from South Sudan, and he was very like adamant about bringing basketball to it. So that's really cool to see someone like that good doing that. And you have South Sudan shooting 48% from the field to China's 46, 50% from three to China's 40, 66% from the free throw line to China's 61%. You have South Sudan leading in assists with 17-16. Offensive rebounds go to South Sudan 10-6. Defensive rebounds 24-22. Total rebounds 34-28. That is South Sudan's. Steals, South Sudan with 4-3. Blocks, China with 5-3. Turnovers, China with 11 to South Sudan's 5. Fouls, China 22-20. Fast break points, South Sudan with 8-0. Biggest lead, 20 to China's 2. Points in the paint, tied at 22 apiece. Points from the bench, 22 South Sudan to China's 19. And you have points from turnovers, South Sudan with 15 to China's 4. Second chance points, 14-4 South Sudan. And you have South Sudan leading for 37 minutes of this game.
Yeah, biggest thing I'm looking at here is the 3-point make differential, 15 for South Sudan to China's 8.
Yeah.
That's 21 points right there that could have gotten China the win had they, gotten that many. But another one where rebounding, that's the one I'm seeing. Rebounding in threes, but even like despite that, China did not play
not necessarily bad at all.
poorly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Only 11 turnovers is pretty big. They did foul 23 times, but as we've seen with the 33 or the 34 against Japan, it can be worse. So, didn't play that poorly, but yeah, South Sudan with another win led by Carlik Jones, man, he's killing it. He like we said before last weekend, that dude won G League Player of the Year. So it's nice to see that he's kind of showing he's for real. I want to see him play on a legit roster. I really want to see him play. He's intriguing.
For sure.
Moving on from there, another flyby. We do have Cape Verde winning 81-75 over Venezuela.
Yep.
All right, we could get right. You could get right into that.
So we have Venezuela, Nestor Colmenares with 6-5-3, Johan Zamora with 14-2-3, and Gary Sojo with 13-7-1. And then, oh man, you have David Kubilan with 15-2-4, and you have, sorry, my phone was acting weird. And then you have going to Cape Verde with Eddie Tavares with a big rebounding game, 14 rebounds and 3 assists. Bettino Gomez, 22-3-1, and Ivan Almeida, 18-6-2 and Will Tavares, 22-3. And I'll check the unit stats. You have Cape Verde, 45% from the field to Venezuela's 38%. 42% from 3 for Cape Verde to 37%. Free throws, you have Venezuela taking this with 75% to Cape Verde's 59%. And with assists, you have Venezuela 17-14. Offensive rebounds, Cape Verde ekes out barely 10-9. Defensive rebounds, Cape Verde 32-27. Total rebounds 42-36. Cape Verde. Cape Verde 9 steals to Venezuela's 6. 4 blocks for Cape Verde to Venezuela's 1. Turnovers, Venezuela with 14-11. Fouls 24-18. Fast break points, Venezuela 10-9, and biggest lead goes to Venezuela. And points in the paint 28-14 for Cape Verde. Points from the bench, Venezuela with 41 to Cape Verde's 13. So that's interesting to look at. And then 15 points from turnovers for Venezuela. Second chance points goes to Venezuela again with 11, and you have Venezuela leading this game for 20 minutes.
Yeah, if you look at the second and fourth quarter, it's kind of funny. It was a complete flip. Venezuela in the second quarter led or had a point differential 23-9.
Yeah.
And then fourth quarter, Cape Verde flipped it on them, and they were 22-9 in that category. So, huge comeback there for Cape Verde, who also, it looks like, started that comeback in the third quarter, winning the third quarter 26-20. So, big game for Cape Verde. Will Tavares, Beto Gomez leading the way there with 22 points. So, shout out Cape Verde. Keep hooping. Venezuela, another team. See you next time. Hopefully we get some more talent over there.
For sure.
Get things a little more interesting. Moving on, another flyby. We got New Zealand versus Jordan. Kobe Bryant's son, Rondé Hollis Jefferson. New Zealand winning this game 95-87. One of the higher scoring games, surprisingly, so far. Rondé, absolute monster game. 39 points, 9 boards, and 4 assists. Aside from that, man, you take it away.
So you have him, who's second in FIBA right now in points per game. So that's
killing it.
And you have Freddie Ibrahim with 22, 5, and 9. You have Ahmad Dewari, 19, 10, and 3. And then moving on to New Zealand, you have Isaac Fotu, 11, 5, and 0. Yannick Wetzel, 13, 6, and 2. Shea Ely, 15, 0, and 10. And Finn Delaney with 14, 7, and 3. And Isaiah Laafa with 23, 5, and 5. And moving on to the stats, they were pretty similar, except the 3-point percentage is ugly from Jordan, but 47% from the field as a unit for New Zealand to 42% for Jordan, 52% from 3, New Zealand to, like I mentioned, Jordan's 25%, pretty bad percentage right there. And 76% from the free throw line to Jordan's 74%. You have a tied assist at 22 apiece. Offensive rebounds goes to Jordan at 14-10. Defense rebounds goes to Jordan at 30-27. Total rebounds 44 Jordan to 37. Steals go to Jordan 10-9. You have blocks, Jordan 2-1. Turnovers, Jordan leads this 18-15. Fouls, wow, this is a high. It's a lot for both units. 27-25. Jordan takes that. Wow, that's a lot of fouls. Fast break points 11-8. Biggest lead belonged to New Zealand with 12 points in the paint. Jordan 40-30 points from the bench. New Zealand 37-4 points from Jordan. Man, points from turnovers 29 for New Zealand to Jordan's 19. Second chance points goes to New Zealand at 13-12, and you have New Zealand leading this game for 41 minutes.
Yeah, wow.
That's
led after the first quarter, led after the second quarter.
That's a tough game, man, because I'm looking at this, man, and they didn't play bad at all.
No, Jordan came back, had a great second half, it seems,
Yeah.
48 points in the second to only New Zealand's 20 or 39.
Yeah.
Took it to overtime, and then New Zealand just kind of won there. Looks like Jordan kind of stalled out, unfortunately. But yeah, another huge game for Rondae Hollis Jefferson, who I hope is trying to make a comeback. He was always a solid player, just
Yeah.
the scoring, again, another dude where the scoring just was never really a big facet of his game. So
That's interesting to
um,
see. Yeah.
yeah, good game there from him. Moving on, Ivory Coast versus Iran, one of the lowest scoring games we've got. Ironic. Uh, Ivory Coast walking away with a very close win here, 71-69. Uh, who's yeah, you take it away.
Sounds good. For Ivory Coast, you have Maxence the Diat with 10-4-3. Amadou Sidibe 10-5. Cedric Ba 6-5-3. And moving on to Iran, you have Banan Yakchali 19-5-3. Mohammed Amini 15-3-4. And you have Sahad Mashayeki with 5-2-3. And going on to the stats, you have Iran shooting 42% as a unit to Ivory Coast 37%. Iran shooting 35% from three to Ivory Coast 31%. Now you have Ivory Coast shooting 95% from the line to Iran 73%. Iran wins the assist category 20-15. Ivory Coast ekes them out in the offense rebound category 12-10. Defense rebounds goes to Iran at 25, and they're tied at 35 total rebounds each. You have 9 steals from Ivory Coast to 6. You have 3 blocks from Iran to 2. You have 14 turnovers from Iran to 12. You have 21 fouls from Iran to 15. You have fast break points going to Iran 12-6. You have points in the paint at 24 for Ivory Coast to 22, and 36 points from the bench for Ivory Coast. And second chance points almost tied Iran 13 to Ivory Coast 12. And you have Ivory Coast leading this game for 24 minutes. So like you mentioned, this was a very close game and very low scoring.
Yeah. Big thing here, it seems, free throws. 21 attempts to Iran's 15, and then 3-pointers made 10-7. In a game as low scoring and as close as this, that's 12 point. No, that's 9 points right there that are missing. So, big win for Ivory Coast to kind of just stay alive in any sort of way. They're currently third in their group at a 1-2 record with only 4 points. But moving on from there, we've got Georgia versus Slovenia, or Georgia versus Luka. Another massive game there. 34 points, 10 boards, and 6 assists from Luka.
Yeah.
The dude's incredible. One of the top 3 players in basketball today. Take it from there. You've got it.
For sure, man. We have Jakub Sibasek with 0-3-0. Gregor Glass with 2-0-0. Bean Prepelic with 3-8-1. Ziga Dimic with 0-1-0. Gregor Hrvat with 6-2-0. Jakub Blasic with 6-0-0. Mike Toby 8-6-3. Klemen Prepelic 15-4-2. Alexei Nikolic with 2-4-4, and Ziga Samar 0-0-0 with Zoran having 12-1-3. Now going on to the Georgia side, you have Gogo Badatse 7-6-3. Kakaber Jinchadarsi 12-0-1. Alexander Mamu Leshkavili 21-7-1. He had a pretty solid game 1 also, didn't he?
Yeah, Sandro's been killing it.
Rati Arana
Andrew Nakashvili, I think.
Yeah.
Andrew Nikashvili.
Yeah, definitely. You have Georgi Shermarndi with 4-6-1. Duda Sanadzi with 2-0-0. You have a DNP from Georgi Turdizila DC. Thaddeus McFadden with 5-1-3. You have Luka Likadotsi with a DNP. You have another DNP from Mikhail Bersavili. And you have Tornik Shinigate Galia 9-4-4. and George Sinatsi with 5, 2, and 7. And then moving on to Slovenia as a unit, shooting 44% from the field, and Georgia shooting 41%. You'll have Slovenia shooting 34% from 3-point and 30% free throws. Slovenia 75% to 68%, and assists goes to Georgia, actually 20 to 19. Offensive rebounds, Slovenia 10 to 7. Defensive rebounds, Slovenia 30 to 25. Total rebounds, Slovenia 40 to 32. Steals 9 to 6 for Slovenia. Blocks tied at 1 apiece. Turnovers, Georgia 17 to 13. Fouls 27 to 26. Another game with a lot of fouls. Fast break points, Slovenia 23 to 6. Biggest lead, Slovenia 22 to 3. Points in the paint tied at 24. Points from the bench, 45 for Georgia to 29. Points from turnovers, 28 to 7. That's not very good from Slovenia getting 28. And second chance points, 16 to 4 for Slovenia. And you have Slovenia leading for 33 minutes.
Yeah, this was, like I said before, this was just a game where it was like right when Luka got going, it was over. First quarter shows it. Neck and neck, 17-16.
And then second, they came out firing on all cylinders. Yeah.
Yep, Luka got them up to 29 points in the second quarter. Cool down in the third, probably Luka not playing as many minutes there. And then Luka comes back in, 25-17 fourth quarter. So, Slovenia handedly winning this one. Technically not really a blowout, but kind of sort of. Definitely another just Luka game. So, big win there for Slovenia to keep on rolling. Moving on from where we were, Puerto Rico losing here to Serbia. Serbia, pretty solid team, coming out with the win here, 94 to 77. Pretty scrambled scoring day for them. What do you got for us here?
Yeah, so we got Stefan Jovic with 6, 1, and 6, and Nikola Jovic, who's the young guy out of Serbia, rookie year last year for the Heat, 17, 3, and 4. Had a big game on defense also. Had a huge impact on that side of the ball. You had Bogdan Bogdanovic, 17, 5, and 5, who continues to have a really strong FIBA. And you have Alexa Aravmovic with 15, 2, and 1, and Nikola Milutinov with 12, 15, and 3. Pretty big game out of him. And moving on to Puerto Rico side of the ball, you got Tremont Waters, 9, 4, 9. Is that someone on the Celtics or is he on Portland? I don't remember exactly.
Let's see.
Because I remember, I know Tremont Waters was in the league recently, or he still is in the league.
It looks like his last time playing was with the Celtics.
Okay.
But yeah, I also recognize his name.
I remember him a bit.
Most recently in the 21-22 season, he was playing for both the Raptors and the Wizards.
For sure.
So probably a G Leaguer from that.
All right. I remember him. And then moving on, we have George Condit, 5, 11, and 3, and Isaiah Pinheiro, 14, 0, and 1. And as a unit,
looked good.
But Serbia, man, 52% from the field to Puerto Rico's 36.5%. 3-point percentage, oddly not very good for Serbia, which is usually not the case. They shot 32% as a unit to Puerto Rico's 39.5%. So that's pretty interesting. Free throws, another weird stat. You have Puerto Rico with 88% to Serbia's 76%. They're usually pretty solid on the shooting side of the ball. And assists, 25. Serbia takes that to 21. Offensive rebounds, Puerto Rico 14 to 9. Defensive rebounds, Serbia 32 to 23. Total rebounds 41 to 37. Serbia steals 8 to 6 for Serbia. Blocks 3 to 1 for Serbia. Turnovers, Puerto Rico 15 to 13. Fouls, Puerto Rico 19 to 14. Fast break points, Serbia 21 to 5. And biggest lead, 32 points for Serbia. Points in the paint, 48 points for Serbia to Puerto Rico's 20. Points from the bench, 33 Serbian points to 32. 7 points from turnovers, 18 to 17 for Serbia. Second chance points, Puerto Rico, 16 to 11. And you have Serbia leading for 39 minutes of this game.
Yeah. These were some fun highlights to watch. That third quarter for Puerto Rico, where is he? Isaiah Pinheiro really came alive in that third quarter, hitting some big shots to kind of, will Puerto Rico back into this thing. But late in the fourth quarter or early in the fourth quarter, Serbia kind of just took hold again. But good overall game. It was just, like you said, kind of a clunk fest here for Puerto Rico. On top of only getting to the free throw line 9 times compared to Serbia getting to the line 21 times. So It's kind of tough to win games like that. But yeah, overall, fun game. Serbia continues to look great. Nikola Jovic, someone we said if he gets better, he's going to
Yeah,
make the Serbia team a whole lot more comp. And he had
agreed.
himself a big day helping lead the way there for Team Serbia.
Maybe that interests Portland a little more. You never know.
That is true. That could get the Damian Lillard thing rolling even further. Uh, Moving on from there, U.S. versus Greece. This was a game I was looking forward to before Giannis ended up getting hurt, unfortunately, because that would have been a very, very, very fun matchup. But unfortunately, he did go out. Another spread scoring day, however, getting led by the man Austin Reeves. So you take it away there. Let's hear
Yeah,
about this
so
one.
we're looking at this one. You very even minutes distribution. Even Walker Kessler got in today. Is that
5 minutes, baby. Walker Kessler fans unite.
the first time? You got Austin Reeves with 15, 5, and 6, continues his impressive run. Walker Kessler, 4, 1, and 0. Triple J, 9, 3. Josh Hart, 6, 11, and 5. A very, very solid Josh Hart stat line there.
Yeah.
He did not start this game. I believe he started. Was he
He
yesterday?
started he over Brandon Ingram, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And then Edwards, 13, 2, and 3. Strong performance. Portis, 10, 4, and 0. Paulo, 8, 3, and 1. Ingram, 5, 3, and 2. Cameron Johnson, 8, 1, and 1. Mikael, 9, 1, and 3. Tyrese, 9, 2, and 3. And you got Brunson with 13, 3, and 2. And very strong. Yeah, Team USA, man, they're playing very well. And then we'll move on to Greece. You have Emanueli Zidakis with 0, 0, and 0. 8 minutes though. Mikel Luntis, 4, 3, and 1. Nikos Ragkavapoulis with 14, 4, and 1. Thomas Walkup, 9, 0, and 7. Lefteris Bokurdiris with 8, 1, and 3. Papagiannis, he's been Greece's headliner, I would say, with 17, 3, and 2. Kostas Papa Nikolou with 8, 1, and 0. Konstantinos with Mitoglu, DNP, Ioannis, man, these Greek names, man, they're getting to me.
Yeah.
Laren Zakis with 7, 1, and 1. Ioannis Papa Petro, 9, 2, and 0. Thanasis Antetokounmpo, 2, 4, and 1. And Dimitris Moraitis with 3, 1, and 1. And as a unit, Team USA, 57% from the field to Greece's 47. You have 40% from 3 to 30% for Team USA, 88% from the free throw line to 50%. So Team USA wins that category. Assists, USA, 26 to 17. USA, offensive rebounds, 10 to 7. USA, defensive rebounds, 30 to 18. Total rebounds, USA, 40 to 25. Steals, USA, 8 to 5. Blocks, 7 to 2 for USA. Turnovers, Greece, 12 to 11. Fouls, 23 to 15 for Greece. Fast break points, USA 32 to 6. Biggest lead, USA 31 to 4. Points in the paint, 40 to 36, USA. Points from the bench, 60 to 45, USA. Points for turnovers, 20 to 11, USA. Second chance points, 13 to 6, USA. Biggest scoring run, 13 to 7, USA. And you have USA leading this game for 36 minutes.
Yeah, just another game. 34 free throws.
Yeah, man. Hey, the line. Hey, it gets you that win, man.
I don't even want to get too much into the U.S. game because at this point it just doesn't feel fair.
Yeah, man. I mean, like you said, man, Giannis, he really makes that team, man. And without him, it's just not the same, man. It's like
I'm also surprised that Thanasis, yeah.
like
I'm surprised Thanasis is not really like,
more.
yeah, I thought that it would have been something where it's like, yeah, let him rock. But no, Papagiannis is kind of coming out and you know, last week I was kind of talking some shit. I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of dissing my boy, but
King's legend.
yeah, he came out and dropped 17,
Yeah.
shut me up. Respect it. But
Game.
yeah, more Steve Kerr action, you know, 29 points in the third quarter, 30 in the fourth quarter. This team just continues to shine in the second half. So
We're rolling, man.
yeah, I don't really know who's going to beat the U.S. at this point, and I want someone to compete against them, but it just looks kind of ugly at the moment.
Canada's our best chance, man.
They really are.
And maybe a Germany. I don't know. I don't know.
Schroeder would have to play out of his mind.
Franz would
Franz
have to
has to
play.
come
Has to
crazy.
play.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has to play, man, because I like you said, that team has a lot of depth, man, compared to the rest of these teams. And the only team I see is just Canada, man, and
Yeah.
that's
Those
about
are the
it.
two kind of big time standouts at the moment. But
Yeah.
moving on to the final game of the night, Spain kind of 18-point win, sort of a
Yeah.
blowout against Team Brazil.
Brazil's not pretty good too, man. Don't sleep on them.
No, they're a solid
Yeah,
squad.
very solid.
Yeah, you go ahead on this one.
All
Yeah.
right, so we got Brazil, the Cristiano Felicio, 8-0-0. Iago Santos, 14-6-4. Gui, 7-1. Only playing 8 minutes. Interesting there. Leonardo Miendel, 7-3-1. Bruno Caboclo, 15-11. Marcelino Huertas, 2-1-2. And you have Jorginho De Paula, 5-1-7. And Tim Soares, 9-1. And let's go to the Spain side. You have Juancho, 8-3-1, man. Juan Nunes, 13-7-5. Sergio, 4-1-2. And you have Usman Garaba, 8-1-4. Willie Hernan Gomez, 14-4-2. Santiago. I did not know his full name, Santiago. I thought it was always Santi. Santiago Aldama, 15-5-2. And Victor Claver, 7-5-1. And Alberto Diaz with 11-3-3. And it looks like a 12-minute donut stat line for Brains.
Jeez.
Okay. And then you have Spain shooting 51% from the field to Brazil's 43. 3-point percentage, 41% for Spain to 26.5%. Free throws, 73% to Brazil's 81%. You have Spain with 27 assists to 17. Brazil with 14 offensive rebounds to 12. Defensive rebounds tied at 24 apiece. 38 total rebounds for Brazil to Spain's 36. You have 12 steals for Spain, man, for Brazil's 0. And you have 4 blocks to 2. So Brazil takes that. Turnovers, Brazil with 16 to Spain's 8. Fouls, 22 for Brazil to 21 I'm sorry, I meant 22 fouls for Brazil to 21. And fast break points, you have 9-5 for Spain. Biggest lead, Spain, 21. Points in the paint, 44-34 for Spain. Points from the bench, 50-28 for Spain. Points from turnovers, 22-8 for Spain. Second chance points, 13-5 for Spain. And you have Spain leading 32 minutes of this game.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. 0 steals, double the turnovers, couldn't make a 3, gave up 30 free throws. It's hard to win. Again, 18 points is technically that's technically blowout status.
Yeah.
However, it should have been a lot worse just from that alone. So
that point, yeah, definitely. I'm with you on that one.
I think the big thing here is, even though Brazil took 10 extra threes and still lost the 3-point battle, they only made 1 less than Spain. So that's probably what kept them alive. And I imagine a lot of those chucks happened in the fourth quarter. So, big game there for Willie again. The Hernan Gomez brothers, they hoop a bit. They do hoop a bit.
Yeah. Spain, man, coming.
Yeah, 3-0, leading their division at the moment. So, this weekend, Sunday, we will be getting into week 3 and getting all that stuff done. And then crushing week 1 during next week. So, covered week 2 or game set 2. Lot of interesting stuff going on, but it's a lot of basketball. It's happening really fast. So trying to cover it at a good pace, little tough, but today I think we went way more in depth and gave a lot more teams some more run time and air time. So glad to do that. A lot of eliminations. Again, we also covered the JaVale signing as well as the Svi Mykhailiuk signing with the Celtics. As always, if there's more to come, that will be brought up in the next episode. Thank you again to Dom for showing up. This was a very long episode. So yeah. Gonna be fun to edit, I'll tell you that. But and then, as always, In the Moment Hoops will be linked in the description. Go check them out. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe over there. And do the same here if you like the content. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hopefully you're enjoying the FIBA content. It's gonna be over about as quickly as it started. It ends on September 10th. So once that happens, then we'll be in another minor lull until training camp starts in the coming in the coming weeks. So even though we're this is like rapid fire at the moment, not going to be for too long. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the World Cup.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's gonna wrap things up. Have a good rest of your week, and we'll catch you on Sunday. Peace.